My name is Kim Parley. We're joining you from Toronto. I will be one of your co-hosts for the next hour. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the celebration of 20 years of life-altering work by the Amani Centre for Street Children. And you are?
I am Andrew Bell, and I'm Kim's co-host. We've been TV colleagues for many years. Now, there's just so much energy here that I almost didn't need my coffee this morning.
Almost.
Oh, that's going too far, yeah. No, life doesn't begin without coffee. But we have been involved. We've been lucky enough to be involved with Amani for quite a few years. Like you, the supporters tuning in, we were just amazed at the impact that Amani has had and just the challenge these children face in Tanzania. And I know that has galvanized you to massive support over the years, both financial and fundraising or donations in kind, or whatever it may be. Kim, tell us about what we've got coming up, please.
Well, we've got a pretty a great time put together. We're going to be, first of all, welcoming all the supporters from right around the world. I can see all the messages coming up on the screen. Toronto, Germany, Poland, Switzerland. There's, it's worldwide support for everything that's going on. So we will be celebrating 20 years of Amani's work of making impact, but also celebrating your support of allowing them the opportunity to make that impact with people. Also in the next hour, you're going to be hearing from Amani's leadership and staff. And then, I argue the most important part is seeing the stories of the children, the Amani children whose lives have been changed by all the work that's being done. And you're going to see also short videos from supporters around the world talking a bit about why they do, why they support the way that they do and why it's so important things. So to kick things all off and to get things started, let's hear some words of welcome from the chair of Amani's board of directors. Let's roll that clip, please.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to introduce myself to you. My name is Osniel Thomas Kiwana, and I have been the chair of the Amani board for the past 6 years. During my working time, I was heavily engaged in community work. So after retirement, I was interested in finding an organization which would give me an opportunity to touch base with the community. And Amani offered that opportunity for me. What attracted me to Amani mostly is the Amani approach of not only putting the children in a residential area, but empowering them and later on unifying them with their families. So for the past 20 years, I've realized that we had a lot of friends from Tanzania and outside Tanzania. And I take this opportunity to thank you, all our friends of Amani who have contributed to the success of Amani, and invite you to celebrate with us the 20 years of great achievement for Amani. Asante sana.
Thank you so much for that opening message.
Let's take it back to the beginning then and go back to the origins of Amani. Every great story has a great opening sentence. They say a novel won't work unless that first sentence is magic. So let's get to somebody now who played a huge role in building Amani from the ground up. Valerie Todd graduated from Duke University in 2002, and she spent the first 10 years of Amani's existence. Most of that, she was in charge. Now, Valerie joins us from Portland, Maine. Valerie, great to talk to you.
Great to be here.
Just tell us how Amani got going. Remind us how this wonderful organization began.
Oh, man. Yeah, and I have to say I'm already feeling so emotional seeing just all of your names. Some of you you're just so dear to my heart, and you've loved the kids for so long, and it's so beautiful. So thank you. Gosh, well, back in the day, it was 2002, 2001, there were some local Tanzanians, and they saw kids who were homeless, kids who had fled, terrible environments and home, the kind of kids who would be in foster care if Tanzania had a functioning foster care system, but it doesn't, and these folks wanted to do something, to help their neighbors. So they found a local landlord, a guy who had an extra, a single family house that he was renting out, and they rented it out. And, he didn't mind if they couldn't always make the rent. They started going onto the streets and saying, hey, kids, we don't have any beds or any chairs or any food or any supplies, but hey, there's some rooms here. And if you want to come and sleep here at night, then you can be safe and you don't have to, be scared that anything will happen while you're sleeping. And the kids who were homeless said, well, gosh, that's better than what we got now. And so that's kind of how it started. Just little kids coming at night to sleep on the floor at Amani, with each other. And then during the days going back to try to beg or work, and earn a little change so that they could feed themselves.
So it was really just a kind of a shelter, somewhere to make them safe.
Right.
That's amazing. Yeah. Can you tell us about some of the challenges, or one or two of the challenges that Amani had in those very early days?
Yeah. Well, it was just hard seeing the needs and not being able to do anything about it. There's a picture I can see vividly in my mind's eye, kind of the corner of one of the rooms. There are about 20 plastic bowls that have rice and beans piled up in them, and they're just lined up on the floor because we didn't have any chairs or any tables. And so, we'd make a big old vat of rice and beans and serve it up, but we didn't actually have enough bowls for everybody. So there'd be like group A, like boarding a plane or something, group A would have their food, and then we would go and group B would have their food, and everybody would just kind of sit in the dirt, and that was it, and there were kids who were really eager to go to school, and we just said, we're so sorry. We would love to be able to send you, but we can't, there was just a lot of lack.
Can you tell us about one of the first Amani kids, Valerie?
Oh, goodness. Wow. Well, one person who springs into my mind is named Solomon. He was older. He was maybe 12 or 13 when he first came to Amani, and came from a background of poverty and kind of a village experience. And so he never had the chance to go to school before. And we had a volunteer actually from Chicago, from the States, who was there for a year. And he taught Solomon and a couple other older kids how to read. Which was awesome because, of course, they couldn't have gone to kindergarten with a 5-year-old. They would have been mortified, But Solomon got to learn to read. And then there was a local carpenter who kind of took him under his wing as an apprentice and taught him how to be a carpenter. And at the goodbye party that Amani threw for me in 2011, Solomon came with his wife and his little baby. And he was a working carpenter, and it just was amazing to see like him thriving and providing for his family and being a strong member of the community. And imagine, what would have happened to this little homeless, illiterate kid, if Amani hadn't been there. And of course, all of you on this call have been there for Solomon and so many kids like him, just turning their lives around forever, as well as the lives of, his child and his whole family. It's amazing.
In that decade, that first decade for Amani, can you identify or remember one important turning point?
Well, it was kind of like, I don't know, like the turning of a tide, like a wave. It wasn't just one point, but it was like, I went to Amani and I saw the kids and I couldn't walk away. And then there were other people who came, a lot of you guys on this call. And when you saw the kids, there was something in there that touched your heart that meant that you didn't want to walk away either, and so kind of slowly, like this kind of wave effect, like people from around the world started caring and started wanting to do something, started doing something. And then we got like a bench, and then we got some tables, and then we started to send our first kids to school, and then we got uniforms, and then, just one thing after the other. And now there's, Amani children who've graduated from college, and, boys and girls around the country, who are growing up and taking care of their future families. It was really kind of amazing, and it's all because of you guys on this call. So you're in my hearts forever.
Valerie, excuse me, thanks for sharing your memories. I can just see those bowls of rice and beans on the floor. I mean, you really started from the ground up. And thanks, obviously, for your contribution. Amani wouldn't be where it is without you. Now, we are going to hear some amazing stories today of kids who were rescued. I mean, a lot of them wouldn't be alive now if Amani hadn't been around. We're going to start off with a kid who came in from the streets. Let's check in on the story of Livin. Let's roll it.
Kwa jina naitwa Living Penele ya Kio, ni mzaliwa Arusha, na vitu vingi sana nakumbuka ambavyo nilipelekea mimi kwenda mtaani. Kwanza nyumbani tulikuwa tunaishi maisha ambayo ni maisha ya shida sana, hata ikapelekea familia ikawa imetawanyika, ikanipelekea mimi kuelekea mtaani moja kwa moja ili kujitafutia angalau chochote. Nilikuwa mdogo sana, nimeenda mtaani nikiwa na umri wa miaka 9. Kule mtaani nilikaa zaidi ya miaka 2. Nilikuwa napitia changamoto kweli, kwa sababu nilikuwa nalala katika mazingira magumu, nilikuwa nalala kwenye mitaro, na changamoto zingine inakuta ni kipindi cha mvua, maji yanakuwa yanakuja kwa wingi sana pale. Kuna kipindi fulani ambacho nilikuwa mtaani hivyo, kuna kijana alijitokeza akanipiga kisu cha kichwa. Niliumia sana kwa sababu sikuwa na msaada wowote wa mtu yote kunipeleka hospitali. Nilikaa sana na kile kidonda kwa maumivu kwa muda mrefu sana. Kuna mlezi mmoja ambaye alikuja wa Amani. Alipofika pale, yule mlezi akawa anatushauri kuhusu Amani. Wakanishauri kweli kuhusu mambo ya Amani. Mwisho wakaja wakanichukua pale, nikaenda nao Amani. Nilipokelewa Amani vizuri sana. Kitu cha kwanza walishughulikia na jeraha langu. Changamoto hiyo naikumbuka sana. Siwezi nikasahau katika maisha yangu, kwa sababu isingekuwa ni Amani, wengine nisingepona, kwa sababu kilikuwa kimekaa zaidi ya miezi 3 kinazidi kuoza, na mimi sikuwa na msaada mwingine wowote. Nilipofika tu Amani nilijisikia vizuri sana, kwa sababu niliona msaada mkubwa sana pale, na tulishauriwa vitu vingi sana. Tukaambiwa ukikaa vizuri ukasimama tutapelekwa shule. Ingekuwa nyumbani, huduma ya shule nisingepata kama ilivyokuwa inavyostahili. Nikasoma vizuri sana na huduma zote nilikuwa napata. Nilifurahi sana. Nikapelekwa chuo cha ufundi, nikaenda nikasomea mambo ya mechanics. Mwaka 2015 ndio nilianza kujiajiri mwenyewe, nikaanza kujitegemea mwenyewe. Nilifanya kazi ndani ya mwaka mmoja, tayari nikapata kipato ambacho kilinisaidia kujenga nyumba yangu mimi mwenyewe. Nilipambana mpaka nikafanikiwa, kwa sababu kufungua garage sio kitu kidogo. Ni kitu ambacho kinahitaji moyo sana. Lakini pia nashukuru Amani sana kwa msaada wao, kwa sababu sikuwahi kutegemea kwamba maisha ninayoishi ningewahi kuishi. Sikutegemea kwamba hii ndoto ya leo ingetimia, lakini kupitia Amani ndoto yangu imetimia. Kwa kweli namshukuru Mungu sana.
I was just going to say, Andrew, it's hard to hear the stories of the hardship that people are going through.
9 years old, he was on the streets.
Yeah. And imagine someone coming at you with a knife, and then to see what's happening now. I mean, it's amazing. And I know you're going to talk more about this too, but I just wanted to say, as we're talking, again, we're seeing supporters joining in right now from Portland, Germany, Wisconsin, Toronto, Switzerland, Colorado. The global community here is really pretty impressive.
Yeah, it really is a worldwide thing. So it's stories like Livin that have kept people supporting Amani for the past 2 decades. And we are going to be hearing from a lot of those supporters during the next hour. Let's start off. We have a video showing some of those earliest donors talking about why they decided to support Amani and why they decided to go on doing so. Let's roll that.
Dear friends of Amani Children's Home, I'm Beatrice Simona. I'm a doctor in dermatology, and I have been working at the Regional Dermatological Training Center of the Christian Kilimanjaro Medical Center in the years 2001 and 2002. I met a lot of patients affected with AIDS, and they died and left behind them a lot of orphans. So we founded the Amani Children's Home for orphans and street children. When I went back home to Switzerland, I continue to support the project, and I involved the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, and the Soroptimist Club. Also my friends and my patients supported the project. I think it's very important that we go on to support Amani Children's Home. Thank you for your attention.
Hey everyone, I'm Joe Canavan, and on behalf of my wife Larissa and our children, we just want to tell you how important the work is that you're doing. We believe, after our visits to Arusha and Moshi, that this is God's work. These beautiful young people have been abused, they've been abandoned, they've been neglected, they've been thrown out on the streets to care for themselves at a ridiculously young age. And like our children, they need love, they need nurturing, they need support, they need an education. And that's what Amani does. If you want to build young people into independent adults, empower them through education, empower them with that nurturing and support that make them feel that they matter, boost their self-esteem. That's the work that Amani is doing. It's important work, it's powerful work, it's transforming lives, it's changing Tanzania and ultimately changing our world. Thank you for all that you do.
Well, hi everyone, I'm Bruce Hugh from the UK. I discovered the amazing work of Amani and Valerie back in 2005 when I visited and climbed Kilimanjaro. Ever since I've tried in a small way to help from afar with a few funds. The opening of Singida, funded by my colleagues in Liaison, has fulfilled a duty of care I feel towards Mienda and his team, which give up so much of their lives to the street kids, affording them a chance of a richer life. Well done for keeping going so brilliantly for 20 years. It's an astonishing achievement for which you should all be proud. Keep it going.
Hi, my name is Brenda Bolins. I'm from Windham, New Hampshire. I just wanted to let everybody know why I've supported Amani for the past 20 years. They're a great organization that gives home to the homeless. They help kids get educated, and most importantly, they give them love. And Amani does that so beautifully, and I just really believe in supporting them, and I have and will continue to do so. Congratulations on your anniversary, and happiness to all of you guys.
Well, thanks to all of those supporters who kept Amani going over the past 20 years. It just wouldn't have been possible without you. We are, during this broadcast, going to be hearing from donors from 10 different countries who have helped out. So the primary purpose today is to celebrate Amani's 20 years, and that's a huge celebration. But you do also have an opportunity to make a financial commitment today to keep this wonderful work going. I'm going to hand it over now to Francesco Rovetta. He is president of Friends of Amani USA. Francesco, take it away, please.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you, everybody, for being loyal supporters to Amani. Today, to mark Amani's 20th anniversary, the Friends of Amani groups from around the world have set the goal of raising $100,000, and we are secretly dreaming to hit $200,000. That includes funds raised today and in the next days. So please don't be shy, make a donation, help us reach this goal, even exceed it, and let the dream come true. As an additional incentive, we have multiple matching grants from longtime supporters in the US, Canada, and the UK. Each donation you will make will be matched up to these amounts. This means that if you make a $600 donation, it will be worth $1,200. The matching in the UK is up to £2,000. In Canada is 7,500 Canadian dollars. In the US is $10,000. And by the way, we are cryptocurrency agnostic. You can make a donation right away going to our website, amanikids.org, and click on the orange button, donate. And then you can let us know that you made the donation by using the chat window, or you can send me an email to francesco@amanikids.org. Thanks, everybody, and I'll be back later to bring you more updates. Over to you, Andrew.
Thanks a million, Francesco. We are going to be hearing more from Francesco Rovetta throughout the show. Now, we heard a little bit, a vivid picture of Amani's first 10 years. Kim, I'm going to hand it over to you. Can you tell us a bit, bring some more up to date? What's happened in the past 10 years?
Well, so we've talked about the last 10. Let's talk about to Andy's point, the last 10 years. In just a few moments, you're going to be hearing from Meindert Schaap, very well known to all of you, of course, Amani's executive director. He's going to take us through some of the highlights of the most recent 10 years. But let's just start first with a short video that provides really an overview of Amani's work. Let's roll that video, please.
Some of the kids that I work on the street, so I've been working with them for quite a bit now, and some of them, they have a bit open up and they want to come to Amani, like Linas here. I've been working with him for a long time, like 2 months, so I'm trying to explain to him about Amani, and maybe in 2 or 3 days he will be ready and I'll take him to Amani. Amani, utalala kwenye kitanda kizuri, utalala kwenye godoro zuri, utajifunika shuka nzuri, sio? Sawa, eh?
Our primary responsibility at the essential department is to make sure that children live well, children get their basic need, children are well protected while they are here at the center by providing them with a very quality health care. After they arrive from the street, we do a medical checkup, and in case of anything strange, we plan for the intervention. While they are here at the center, we provide a good place for them to sleep, food with all nutrition content, but a very good environment for them to play various games. Example, football, basketball, acrobatics, cards, Lego, and draft.
On family integration, we are working on tracing the families of the children who we have rescued from the streets, and after that we are doing strengthening the relationship between the family and the child that has been broken before the child has dropped out. Then we have reunified the child with the family, and after that we do family support or post-education support, in which we are providing them like conditional grant support, income generating project support, food support, and education material support.
Amani Center Safe House Arusha is the place where we rescue children who are facing in human trafficking, those who are in victims in VAC and GBV cases. After rescuing the children, we just stay with them in the center. We just providing counseling to them, also provide food, shelter, and clothes. By the time where they're in the safe house, we just tracing their family back. We just sometimes accompany them to the court, and then we prepare them to be back to their family.
Apart from rescuing kids and bringing them to Amani, we also give them education while at Amani. We have fast track system here at Amani, and we also have some kids who go to schools outside, and then we also have the ones who go for the secondary level, and then we also have the ones who go to the college, and then after the college they go to the university. There they undergo many different topics. They can decide to go to the vocational training, they can do carpentry, they can do cookery, they can do hotel management, they can do teaching, but then the ones who manage to go to the university, they also go to do different topics.
You know, Andy, we've been doing this for a long time, but I'm always amazed at the holistic, it's everything, right? It's providing them everything and helping them in every aspect to make sure they're set up for success.
And can you imagine how desperate a child must be to leave their family, go live on the streets?
Yeah.
And I mean, It's obviously no picnic in a wealthy country like Canada, but in a developing country, can you imagine how little there is for them?
It is. It's been a journey over the last 10 years. And here to tell us a little more about that, I want to bring back into the conversation Amani's Executive Director, Mindert Schaap. He's led Amani since 2010. Mindert, I know I was expecting, I'm not sure if you're joining us from phone on Zoom or from video on your phone or from your desktop, but it's nice to see you. Looks like you got the electricity's up and running again. I think people know who have been, working with this organization. You were a child psychologist in the Netherlands. You've worked with homeless families. You've worked with challenged families. You've worked with children with criminal backgrounds. You spent more than 7 years working with children in India, street children there as well. There are a lot of organizations all over the world, and especially in Africa, that work with children. Why do you think Amani is different?
Well, first, hi, Kim. Hi, Andrew. Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here, and it's great to celebrate together. But to come to your question, yes, it's true. I've seen a lot of organizations over the years, street children organizations, other organizations working with children. But I think what happened to me, and it's happening, I think, to almost everyone who gets in touch with Amani, and we've heard it a couple of times before, it's the word love. It's the loving care. When I saw the advertisement for Amani, Amani's executive director, I checked out the website, I got in touch with some of the staff, and that's what stood out, the loving care that's there for all these children. But I don't think it's just the loving care. I think it's this combination of, yes, loving care on the one hand, but also a very professional approach. Already back in 2010, 10-11 when I joined, and even more so today. And I think the other thing that I really love about Amani is we're a local Tanzanian organization, and that's special. We've got a lot of Tanzanian staff doing the work. They go out in the streets, they do it all. And I think that is a lot of power to Amani as well. And I think the third thing is what you mentioned. We sort of do everything. So we're not a orphanage. There's a lot of places for children in Africa. They're just an orphanage. Children come in at the age of 6. Then at some point they are released at the age of 21. And most of them don't really know how to operate in society. So that's not what Amani is. We're the opposite. We're not an orphanage. We're not a center. We're not a school. We're this whole conveyor belt that starts on the street, where we get in touch with these children, build rapport, build friendship, get them off the street, shelter them safely in our residential facilities, then get them into education, reconnect them with their families, reunite them, in most cases with their families, and then continue following up with them, often for many years. So I think it's that whole comprehensive approach, plus that loving care, plus the professionalism that we are building locally here in Tanzania, that really makes Amani stand out.
Yeah, I was going to say, and just add to that list, exceedingly competent, given the results that have come out of this too, which I think, love is important, but you have to have that professionalism and competence in the local piece to really make it come to life. What do you see? We saw some of the highlights just a moment ago in terms of the developments of the last 10 years, but what do you see as the main developments in Amani over that time?
Well, I think the last 10 years, and that is really a credit to all of you internationally, has been 10 years of tremendous growth. Growth in professionalism, but also growth in impact. So I think many of you know we opened a satellite center in Singida, which is like 400 kilometers, 300 miles away. And they're doing an amazing job. Every year they are rescuing 40, 50 children from the street and bringing them to success. We opened youth transition houses, which is a project for older street youth. And we finally really built a very strong presence in Arusha, which is the big city here, where we have increased a lot of our street children work, but also started a safe house. And I think that's what shows the growth over these years in impact, that when I joined Amani in 2010-11, we worked with approximately 180, maybe 200 children over the course of a year, and that has grown to more than 800 now. So yeah, thanks to everyone on this call and everyone who might see this later. That's all been made possible because of you.
Yeah, and also you, Minder. We're all very clear, and this is the amazing work you've done. We've heard a lot of stories, and I'm asking a leading question because I know the answer to this too. But we hear a lot of stories of boys, and Amani does also work with girls.
True, and we're very proudly doing so. Though it's not always been easy. So again, I think that shows the progress. When I came in 2011, there were active discussions going on. What do we do? Do we continue working with girls? There aren't that many girls living in the streets. It's mostly boys. We weren't that good at reaching them. And then we would bring the occasional girl to the Amani Children's Home. And then you would have one girl or maybe two girls among 75 boys. So yes, there were intensive discussions. What do we do? Do we focus on boys only, or can we somehow boost the work with girls? And we chose the latter. So we boost our street work, got more female staff, went into the slums more. Especially the last couple of years, we started working also with girls, and I know it's difficult to imagine, who are like 14, 15, 16 years of age. They may live with their boyfriend or their pimp in some shack in the slum. And then during the afternoons, evenings, nights, they go onto the street and at the age of 15 or so, sell their bodies. So yes, we've worked with girls. We've also opened the safe house that I just mentioned, which again aims specifically at girls and young boys who have been rescued from very severe abuse. So yeah, I'm really proud to say that when I joined, the number of girls were very few. Now, despite the fact that there aren't that many girls on the street, it's about 20% of the total number of children we work with.
If you think about the recent developments that you're most proud of, I'm assuming the safe house and working with more women, young girls. Anything else come to mind?
The safe house, I think, has been a tremendous success, and we didn't really expect that, and in a way it's actually sad because it shows the need, and it shows that there are so many children who face child marriage at the age of 14, child trafficking from Burundi, from Ethiopia, sexual abuse, physical abuse to the point of having been hospitalized for months. So yes, it is a sad reality, but we are proud that we've opened the first ever safe house for children in Tanzania, and that since we opened it, even though we had all the COVID challenges, already more than 200 boys and girls have been sheltered there. I think the other thing that we are really proud of, and that is also from a strategic perspective, it's one thing to continue rescuing these kids from the street. But we can only do so much, and we only work at the moment in 3 different cities. So what else can we do? And we really joined hands with a lot of other organizations and started advocating, lobbying with the government at the regional level, at the national level, to see how can government and non-profit organizations like Amani work better together? How can we prevent children from coming to the street? And how can we develop best practices together so that we become even better in helping these children? And it's really promising to see that the government is more and more ready to engage with Amani and others to really help these kids. So I think those are a couple of the bigger developments.
Yeah, it's important work, and it almost, you're moving now, I'd say you talk about that conveyor belt, now you're almost going pre-conveyor to preventative, trying to make sure that these things happen ahead of time. I know we have a couple of videos coming up, and Minded, I'd like you to help me set them up. And this is featuring Maimuna, who is a girl that Amani has helped. Maybe just tell us a bit about her before we roll the video.
Yeah, so very briefly, Maimuna is one of the girls, of all those girls that we now help. And we rescued her from the street when she was about 12 or 13. Basically, the family had split up. Dad had abandoned the family. Mom basically had no income and took Maimuna out of school and put her to work on the streets. She was selling donuts there in the afternoons, in the evenings, in the nights. And you can imagine if you are a 12, 13-year-old girl just reaching puberty and you're alone on the streets at night selling donuts to people that you don't know, that's a very, very risky situation. So we are so happy that we were able to rescue her from the street. Then through our fast track primary school, we got her through school in about 2-3 years. And because she was doing so well, we then were able to enroll her into a private boarding school, secondary school. And that's where we shot the video that we'll show you now.
Okay, let's roll that video then, please.
Kusema la kweli nimeshakaa Amani miaka 4 sasa iliyopita, na imenisaidia kipindi chote cha miaka 4 nikiwa pale, na hata sasa inaendelea kunisaidia. Nasoma katika shule inaitwa PC House Secondary School, na sasa niko form 2 na miaka 2 sasa nitakuja kusomea accountant. Kusema la kweli nitakapopata kazi yangu, kwanza nitamshukuru Mungu, na pili nitasaidia wale watoto pia wanaoteseka kama mimi nilivyosaidia. Kweli ningeteseka, ningebakia nateseka na wala nisingekuwa na chochote tena, kwa sababu babangu alikataa na mamangu alikuwa anatenda. Kusema la kweli mimi nashukuru sana Amani kwa sababu imenisaidia, na naishukuru sana, na naomba Mungu aendelee kuifanya iendelee kusaidia watoto wanaoteseka kama mimi ili waweze kupata elimu, kwa sababu elimu ndio kila kitu.
All of this, Mindert, is a continuing story. So that was a point in time with Maimuna. What's happened to Maimuna since then?
Well, this is about 5-6 years ago that we shot this. And what she says, education is everything. I think she was the example of a girl who embraced that and ran with it. And I'm really proud to say that Maimuna is now Amani's first ever girl who has made it into university. Can you imagine? From the street now into university. And just recently she came to Amani and we shot a quick video with her in which she shares a little bit about her life there.
Let's roll that video, please.
My name is Maimuna Abdul Sadiq. I'm the current student of the National Institute of Transport, which is located at Mabibo, nearby to the Ubungo Plaza at Dar es Salaam. Let us forget that I'm the first lady of Amani Center who reached out to anybody. I'm very proud from the opportunity that I get. Thank you guys for your support, because your support makes us to change our life from the difficult situation to the better one. And without your support, most girls will suffer. I'm the one over them. And now I'm proud for your support, because your support made me to free myself from the pressure, and now I'm in university. I'm really proud of that. I know Amani Center will be proud of me, and I'm really proud from Amani Center and you guys.
It's amazing, Mindert. I mean, I know it's the same girl, but it almost seems like it's a different person. I mean, her essence, has gone from this very quiet, shy, soft-spoken girl. She's confident.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm so proud of what she says herself. Our first lady in university. So yeah, tremendous transformation, and one of those examples of girls and boys that really come to success because of everyone involved.
Mindert, we're going to come back to you in just a few minutes, but we will take Maimuna, the First Lady of Amani. It's a great title, and one she has very much earned, that of course motivates people to want to help Amani when they see the work and what actually happened. Show you a few testimonials of people about, again.
Hi, I'm Yannicka. I live in London in the UK. And I support Amani because when I was growing up in Moshi, I got to play with the kids there on the playground, and I'm so pleased that 20 years later I'm still involved.
Hi, my name is Manuel. I've been living in Dubai for the last 12 years and just recently moved back to Germany. I first met with the Amani team in 2015 after we climbed Kilimanjaro. I've seen the hard work the team puts in that gives these kids an incredible smile. Amani is changing so many lives every single day. This is the reason why I believe in Amani and keep being a supporter.
Hi, my name is Karim Visram, and I'm from Toronto, and me and my family support Amani simply for two reasons. One is it is our obligation to help fellow mankind, especially children who are less fortunate around the world. Second is I'm from Tanzania. I was born in Tanzania. As a result, I feel very, very close to Tanzania. I visited Amani some 10 years ago and made a huge, huge impact to me as to the children that Amani helps. And that's why I'm a big, big supporter of Amani. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I'm from Australia, but I first got involved in Amani when I was living in Dubai, and since then I think I've done 6 or 7 trips to Amani, and I've been leading the Friends of Amani in Dubai since 2013. If I had to choose 2 words that encompasses Amani, it would be choice and change. The kids choose to be at Amani. They have a chance to choose a different path. They have a chance to be a kid again. They have a chance to feel safe. They have a chance to be loved, to love, to learn, and to also teach.
So great to hear from you in terms of all the reasons why it resonates and why, you understand the work and the support that you provide does this great work. And I won't take away any of Francesco's job coming up, but I can see things happening in the chat, which is very exciting. So, but as an ex-journalist, I want to break the news, but I won't do it. I will leave it to Francesco. It's important to understand too that and Minder alluded to this earlier, that it's not just the international community, although the international community is critical. It's the local community that is there to support as well. Minder, just to give some context, tell us a little bit about maybe some of the local women who do help out.
Well, yeah. So one of the fun things in Amani is, yes, we have all these international supporters and we love you all. But like every month, we have some visitors from nearby, some Tanzanian local community people, whether it's from a church or whether it's from the government or whether it is just neighbors coming to Amani and bringing stuff for us and for the children. So sometimes they bring like a goat because there's some celebration coming up, and then our kids for like 3 days run around behind that goat trying to play with it until finally it gets slaughtered and eaten. Or they come and bring bags of beans, bags of rice, cooking oil. And that's just amazing. I love how, yes, in addition to all the international support, we have all this local community support as well. And I think in the next video, you'll see one of those examples.
Sababu ambayo imetuvutia toa msaada kwa Amani, kikundi chetu cha Tabita ni kikundi ambacho kinafanya matendo ya huruma. Na tukijua kwamba wale watoto wa Amani ni watoto ambao wameokotwa kuna kule. Wengine wana wazazi ndio, lakini hawako karibu nao, wala washirikiani nao. Na tunaona wajibu wa kusapoti Amani, kuwapa kile kidogo tulichonacho ili wale watoto waweze kufarijika. Na mara nyingine tuende pale physically tunaenda pale physically kupika chakula kwa mikono yetu na kuwagawia kwa mikono yetu kama mama, ili waweze kupata faraja na kuhisi upendo kutoka kwetu.
A loving meal really does go a long way, and it's just very touching to see how these women do treat these children as their own grandchildren. Minder, thank you so much for sharing that story with us. We're going to come back to you in a bit. We're going to be back later to talk about not just the last 10 years, which again has accomplished so much, but the next 10 years, which is in terms of, what is needed to not only overcome what has been happening. We have not even really talked about COVID yet, but of course, just all the need that as Minder talked about earlier, is that when they, bring up the safe house, there's more need, that they're seeing there's more and more demand for what they're doing. Before we get there, though, let's hear from Francesco Rivetta on the response from donors. Francesco, over to you.
Thanks, Kim. Great news on my end, as many Amani supporters have shown incredible enthusiasm and made a good number of donations. Thank you, Brad, Joe and Larissa, Michael, Murray, Robert, and Scott from Canada for your donations. Thank you, Ali, Nancy, and Natalie from the US. Cheers, Barry and Gail from Australia. And thank you, Karen, from Europe. And thanks to all the anonymous donors who have pledged their support now and as a commitment to support Amani for the next 3 years. Now, excluding the matching grants, donations and pledges have now reached about $32,000, which is fantastic, especially considering that we are only 40 minutes or so into our celebration. I also received a text message from Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, who inquired about making a donation to Amani. It was quite a nerdy call because I had to explain how they could make a donation on a cell phone. But it's very simple. Go to our website, amanikids.org, click the orange button, say donate, select an amount, and click, you're set. We are hopefully that they will geek it out. Back to you, Andrew and Kim.
Thanks so much, Francesco. He does often take those calls from Jeff and Bill, so that's great to hear. Let's talk a bit about where Amani is today. Let's turn things back to Andrew in terms of where things are going.
Well, one factor we haven't touched on yet is the incredible staff at Amani, Tanzanian people who have made the organization what it is today. We took a video of them. We asked them, what makes Amani special for you? Let's roll that.
I love to work with Amani because I love to help the community to see the success of the child reached from the day we rescue them from the street up to the moment the child they reach their goals.
My dream is to see the child be happy and they are doing fine.
Wanapenda watoto. Mimi sasa nimefika umri wa kuwa bibi na ninapokaa na watoto wote nawachukulia na kuona kama vile ni wajukuu zangu. Kwa hiyo ninapokaa nao nawafurahia, nawapenda na ninatamani kuwa nao na kuwaona kila saa.
Every kids have got their expectations, and what inspires me to work with Amani is to see these kids attain their positive expectations in their lives.
Amani is the most vulnerable center, working with vulnerable children, and these children, knowing that you are assisting them to have a very future and bright life. It is an honor to work with them and to see them growing from the streets to being very good, respected youths. Looking at how these kids are, how sometimes you look at them, they seem to have no future, they seem to have no one to care for. But then when I keep looking at how they keep changing, I keep getting hope that I think I should continue working with these kids because they inspire me a lot when I see what they are becoming of them. And it is a really wonderful experience in my life.
I am passionate to work with vulnerable community, and since my childhood I was wishing to work with the community. What inspires me about Amani is how Amani is strengthening relationship between children and their families.
You can see the passion of those staff. I mean, the centres couldn't keep going without them. Let's get another story of a kid who's been helped by Amani. And this one actually doesn't date from too long ago. It's the story of Yassine. He came in from the streets. So let's see the beginning of Yassine's story.
Hello friends, I'm Salma Hatib. I'm working as a communications and volunteer supervisor here at Amani. Today I'm happy to share a story of a 13-year-old boy, Yassine, who was being rescued by Amani social worker a month ago. He has been rescued at Kilombero Market in Arusha, where he used to live and work there for 3 months. His parents separated and his father left home with nowhere to be found to date. His mother also left home to Dar es Salaam a few days after and left Yassine with his auntie, who started to abuse and give him severe punishment. He was supposed to do all the housework at his auntie's place and he couldn't go to school again until he was able to escape from his auntie's place to the street. Like many other street children in Tanzania, Yassine's life on the street was very rough. To meet his daily needs, he has to carry heavy luggage at the market, begging for money, and sometimes eating leftover food. It was also challenging as he couldn't have a proper unsecured place to sleep during the night. He used to sleep outside the veranda around the market and used sacks and pieces of boxes to protect himself from the cold. So the security was not good either, because most of the time he has to hide himself from the bad people who are either coming to steal from them or abuse them. Yassini's first day at Amani, he was assigned by a family worker who is the key contact between him and his relative back home. Together with the Amani counselor, they are assisting Yassin to cope with the life at Amani and also counseling him to overcome some of the trauma he has experienced at his auntie's place and also on the street. Not only that, they are using this opportunity to learn more about Yassini's family and make some useful plan on how to intervene in the future. Yassini has been enrolled back to school again here at Amani and is happy to have this opportunity to go back to school again. Amani will continue to work hand in hand with Yassini to find out more about his family and how Amani could continue supporting him in the future. One of the plans the Amani social worker has is to trace Yassini's mother in Dar es Salaam to see if there's a possibility to unite him with his mother. Yassini likes to study and his dream is to become a pilot when he grows up. On behalf of Yassini and all the Amani children here in Tanzania, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for your generous support.
Now, we're going to be hearing more of Yassin's story later. Going to be a pilot. That's cool that he's a Harry Potter fan.
Yes.
Kids all over this planet.
Yes, it's universal.
Something about those books. Okay, so the Friends of Yamani UK, given the COVID crisis, weren't able to organize an actual climb of Kilimanjaro, so they did a virtual climb of Kili. How did that work? We are joined now by Steve Baines of Friends of Yamani UK. Amani UK. Thanks very much for coming on the show, Steve. Tell us how it worked and what was the mechanism here and how did it all go?
Greetings from Birmingham in the UK. Yeah, absolutely. We weren't able to, because of the pandemic, we weren't able to do some of our normal fundraising. And so we were wondering what to do. And we came with the idea of a virtual Kilimanjaro climb. Now, what this meant was that supporters, they walked, they ran, they swam, they cycled, the equivalent of the climb to the summit of Kilimanjaro. And I'm delighted to say that we had 30 participants from 5 countries in the Amani family. We had 2 people who were over 80 years old doing it. We had 1 person with a life-threatening illness doing it. Money is still coming in, and so we're not quite sure of what the total is. But as of today, we have just hit the $10,000 mark. So we are just delighted by that. That is more than enough to pay for 2 social workers for a year at Amani. And we've already had questions from across the Amani family and supporters of whether we'll do this again. And the answer to that is a big yes, we will. This is only the start. And we'll be sending information to everybody who's kindly joined us on the call today with information about next year's virtual Kilimanjaro climb. Yes, just delighted to be with you. Thank you.
Good stuff, Steve. Congratulations to all involved in that climb. I'm supposed to think you could do some graphic thing maybe next year. You could have a graphic. Oh, look at me, Mr. Tech. You could have I'm not. You could have a graphic of Kilimanjaro, and then you could have little avatars.
Andy is volunteering his programming time for
That's
you
right.
to do that.
This is why I don't work in the video game industry, my ideas. Anyway, Steve, congratulations. Now, Minders and the Amani kids have prepared a special video for those virtual Kili climbers. Let's roll that.
Dame tu cosita, dame tu cosita, ay, dame tu cosita, dame tu cosita, ay, dame tu cosita.
You just did it. You climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. Amazing. We are so proud of you, all of us here at Amani. A huge hongera. Congratulations to you. Not just for accomplishing this, but also for helping Amani to celebrate its 20th anniversary this way and to help raise funds, help raise money for these kids. It is because of people like you that over the past 20 years, we've been able to rescue more than 1,800 children from the dangerous streets and gave them a future. Thank you so, so much for everything you do. You're simply amazing.
Good stuff. Now, you heard Minder talk earlier about how Amani focuses on reuniting these kids with their families. And in fact, that's what happened in Yasin's case. Let's have a listen.
After several initiatives of allocating Yassini's mother in Dar es Salaam with no success, Yassini's social worker, through the local authorities in Arusha, was able to allocate his grandmother, who was extremely happy and willing to live with Yassini.
Marhaba, jamani, amani ya Mungu Bwana. Marhaba, jambo aisee. Karibu. Hivyo jamani, nashukuru sana. Yassini zaidi amebadilika sana. Tuko vizuri.
Yassini was finally reunited with his grandmother last month and is enrolled back to a day school closer to his grandmother's house in Arusha.
Kwa hiyo ndio hivyo jamani, mimi nashukuru wanangu na mpaka mmenifikia hapa kwa sababu Mungu Yesu amewagusa sana.
Amani will continue to support Yassini in his studies and do a closer follow-up to the school and home towards assisting him to achieve his dream.
Stories like that keep the supporters of Amani engaged and just keep them around as it has done over the past 20 years. Let's hear from another group of donors as to what Amani has meant for them. Let's roll that video.
Hi, I'm Pernille calling from Denmark, and I want to say congratulations on 20 years of helping kids in Tanzania. I visited Amani Children's Home twice, and I'm very impressed with the new Arusha Center helping girls from a terrible future. Thank you, and keep up the good work.
My name is Wanji Ranjenga, and I am from Montreal, Canada. The reason why I support Amani Children's Home is because I know what a difference a warm meal, a place to sleep, and an education can make in a child's life. I am from Africa myself, and I have seen firsthand just what a helping hand can do to a child. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Martin. I live in Devizes in the UK, and I believe in Amani and support Amani to try and give children opportunities when they've unfairly lost them.
Hello, friends of Amani. I'm Felice Schleiner, and I live in Sarasota, Florida. My husband, Dennis Reese, and I are giant fans of Amani because of what Amani does to take street children from lives of desperation to lives of hope and promise. such an exciting thing to be part of. We've mostly supported scholarships, but one year when Amani was building a farm, we bought a gate. It's Felice Gate. And it was the best $800 I ever spent. So thank you for letting us be part of the Amani family. Here's to 20 years of absolutely incredible work, and decades more, because the work is not done.
Thank you again to all those supporters. Now I'm going to hand it back to Kim, hand it back to you in a sec to talk with Mindert about the next 10, 20 years for Amani. But first, let's go back to Francesco. Francesco, any more money coming in?
A big yes. First, we got 2 additional US donors who offered to make $10,000 matching grants. Thank you, Beverly and Tom from Florida. Thank you, Tom and Paula from Connecticut. So if anybody who's listening now is thinking of making a donation, well, it's a perfect time. Your donation will automatically double. And second, we also had 2 Canadian donors who made a 3-year donation commitment. Thank you, Mark and Heather, and thank you, Kareem. And we got multiple donations from around the world, Europe, the UK, Australia, and we have now reached a total of $94,000. Wow. The only odd update is that both Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos haven't figured out how to donate. When we last spoke, they mentioned some lack of connectivity in the outer orbit, like they were planning some space travel. Weirdos. Anyway, great news on my end. Back to you now.
Good stuff. Thanks for wrangling those billionaires as well, Francesco. Kim, we're going to hear once more from Francesco, and thanks to him for the amazing work he's doing. Kim, I'm going to hand it back to you now because you're going to touch base with Mindert again.
Yeah, let's bring Mindert back in the conversation. And Mindert, I know you're remarkably proud of all the work that Amani has done. You're proud of the children, of the staff, of the supporters. And, there's been so much remarkable work that is done in growth just since your arrival, I think about 11 years ago. What is your vision for Amani for the next 10 years?
Well, I'll have to be a little bit honest with you. So the next 2 or 3 years, I think we are not going to make any huge plans. And that's primarily because of the whole COVID uncertainty. It's impacted us quite a bit, and we still don't really know how it will pan out in the 2 or 3 years to come. But what I do hope is that we can focus on sustaining everything that we've built in those 20 years, and that 2 or 3 years from now we'll come out of all of this stronger than ever.
Take me through, I'll keep pushing, and I don't want to underplay COVID. I mean, it's been, an incredible time for many people. And I know from speaking with you last year, how difficult it's been to navigate through this. And there's just so many things changing. But if you were to put COVID aside for a minute, what are your biggest dreams for Amani?
We just want to help more and more kids. And I think over the past 20 years, yes, I'm proud. I'm proud of the staff. I'm proud of everyone involved, because we've built a model that is proven so successful, so powerful to help kids from the street and all the way into success. And we really would love it if that model could expand throughout Tanzania, similar to how we've done it in Singida, where we opened our first ever satellite center, which is doing really well. How we opened the Safe House in Arusha. So yes, if at all possible, we would like to go from the 3 locations we have now, Moshi, Arusha, Singida, to hopefully another 4 in the next 10 or 12 years, both working with street children as well as offering safe shelter to kids, and especially girls who have been rescued from severe abuse. But maybe one thing to say about it. So yes, we would love to grow and expand as we've done over the years. But I think one thing that is critical to me, and I think to everyone in Amani, is that we want to keep the Amani spirit. I go back to what I shared early on. It's that loving family spirit that really makes the difference. It's not the methodology. It's not just the professionalism. It's not like we have a handbook and we tick, 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 and then a child is doing okay. It's the loving connection that we build with these kids. And I hope that we can keep that we can also stay small enough that we're not going to grow into one of those big organizations with a lot of bureaucracy and overhead, where even for you as donors, you don't even know where your money goes anymore. And I think that's one of the beauties of Amani as well. So if you give us $500 or whatever amounts Francesco just mentioned, you just know it's going to have an impact. It's going to directly benefit a child or many children. So yeah, I think,
oh, go ahead. I was just going to say that $800 for a gate, which we heard about earlier, which was such a great example.
True. Yeah, no, so that's, I think, what we hope to do. Expand, but expand while keeping that loving spirit and the Amani culture.
Tell me about the team that you have in place that's going to help you balance that growth with making sure you keep that culture in place.
Well, you mentioned already, it's that team that does the work on the ground. Yeah, and I sometimes hate it because when it comes to a lot of the international contacts, it's often me, this white face, that somehow is the face of Amani, which is not representative. We have more than 90 extremely dedicated staff with amazing heart. And you've seen a couple of those in the videos. And they are doing the work on the ground. They go out into the streets at night, as you saw Ima do. They offer that loving care, even when a kid is not yet ready to receive it. They are the ones who teach teenagers to read and write, as Valerie shared. They are the ones who really make all of this happen. So I also would like to take this opportunity, and I know some of my colleagues are joined in this call, to say a huge thanks to all of them for the amazing work that they have done over all these years, because it's all of us. It's the field staff, it's the teachers, it's the social workers, and yes, it's the accountant, it's the caregivers, it's the cleaning mamas, and the management, and all our international friends that have made the past 20 years such an amazing, powerful success.
I know that, reminder, as we start to come to the end of this, I know there's been, we've talked about the fact that you have, grown and you're now supporting women and girls as well. And you've got a story, I know, of 3 girls in a video that we're about to show, but maybe give us a bit of background before we show it.
Okay, very briefly, you will see 3 girls, and they are sharing a little bit about how they see Amani. All 3 of them live at the Amani Children's Home. All were rescued from either the street or severe abuse. And I'm just so happy to see so many of these girls running around like crazy, together with the boys, just having fun and just being children again. So yeah, let's have a look.
All right, roll the video.
Napenda kwa sababu hamna ugomvi, wote wanaishi kama ndugu, wanalala sehemu nzuri na wanakula vyakula vizuri. Inanisaidia nisome shule, nije nitimize ndoto yangu ya baadaye, niwe kama Teacher Ima wanavyosaidia watu na mimi nije nisaidie. Naipenda Amani kwa sababu inanipa mahitaji yangu muhimu. Nasoma, nakula, nalala, nacheza. Amani inanisaidia ili kunitoa kwenye mazingira magumu kama kupigwa, kunyanyaswa, kuishi mitaani, kutopata chakula.
Sababu inanipa malezi bora, inanisaidia, inanipa elimu, inanipa upendo na ushirikiano. inanisaidia kwa sababu inanipa kujifunza na kuweza kufikia ndoto yangu ya kuwa mwalimu, kuweza kuwaelekeza wazazi na kuhusu haki za watoto katika jamii.
Minded, it's so amazing to see in their faces. I was thinking about contentment, and peace. They just seem very, and it's so nice just to see them to be children, and not to have to worry about what they have. Do you have any final words for people who are watching today? We've got some testimonials still coming up, but your final thoughts.
I just want to say a huge, incredibly loud and heartfelt Asante Sana to everyone. Thank you so much, each one of you. I don't think you always may realize the impact that your support and friendship makes. And not just on all these children that are being helped, but also on us as adult staff and on me. In all honesty, when I saw some of your testimonial videos, it brought tears to my eyes of joy and of gratitude to just see how much so many of you love Amani, love the work that we do, love the children that we serve, and how all of you help to grow these children from despair into happiness and a positive future. To know that we are one big international family and that we are all in this together, including the whole COVID reality, I think gives everyone here in Amani tremendous strength. And I'm really sure that together, if we continue to stay strong, we will beat this stupid COVID thing, and we will continue to help these hundreds of amazing kids. So my last final words for today, just a huge thank you, thank you, thank you. Asante Sana.
Thank you very much, Mindert. And again, thank you to all the incredible work your staff, and the kids. The kids do the work too, right? In terms of being able to do that. We are getting ready to wind down the live cast that we have for you today. But as we heard, Mindert talked about the heartfelt words coming from supporters. And we have one final group of supporters. So let's run that video, please.
We're Kathy and Garth Johnson and have been supporting Amani for almost 20 years. During that time, we've also had the privilege of visiting, and during those times, we have seen the amazing difference that the incredible, dedicated staff of Amani have made in the lives of hundreds of kids. It really is such a privilege to be a small part of that.
Jumbo everyone, I'm Shams from Turkey. My support for Amani began in 2010 when I saw an article about them in a magazine. Being an artistic gymnastics coach, when I first got there, I thought I can teach them some simple tricks, but to my surprise, they were already doing flips and somersaults. They also had competitive rope skipping and acrobatics teams. Thank you, Amani, for providing them with so many sports activities. And congratulations on your 20th anniversary!
Hi, my name is Fabian from the UK. I support Amani because they give kids like me a chance. I donated my £5 pocket money. I hope to donate a lot more to Amani. Keep up the good work, Amani, from Fabian.
Hi, I'm Colleen Johnston from Toronto. I visited Amani 10 years ago when I was in Africa. Amani is about faith, hope, and love of humanity. That's why my husband and I support Amani's amazing work.
So nice to see your faces, and we can tell, how much it impacts people in terms of supporting. And what I love,
Fabian,
it's like me, right? And that's just that it's the humanities like us. We're all doing this. He was great. So great to hear from all of you. One final time, let's turn things over to Francesco to hear about the response from people on the call today, as well as Bill. Francesco, over to you.
My head is spinning and my calculator just melted. It just couldn't keep up. So let me try and summarize it for you all. And if we forgot something, we'll probably update the final count toward the end of the week. Many Amani supporters made commitments and donated. We had several multi-year commitments. So thank you so much, Jim and Sylvia from Canada, And many thanks to multiple anonymous donors who contributed today. And before I tell you the final amount for today, let me remind you that any donation and commitment you make today, this week, and this holiday season will help change the lives of many girls and boys in Tanzania. Boys and girls like Maimuna, Yasin, Livin, like all those kids you have seen today. So if you have any hesitation, well, don't. Just think about making a donation. And I want to make a very special mention to all of you who have supported Amani thanks to the donations that you make every month. Know that whether it's $5, $20, $40 or more, these are extremely impactful and help Amani do its phenomenal job. One last thing, I'm extremely happy to announce that starting yesterday, Megan Wood has joined Amani as Director of Development for the US. She's amazing and you love interacting with her. So welcome, Megan. And now, ladies, gentlemen, and kids, the final amount. Today, we raised $163,640.
Good stuff.
Nice. Which is amazing. Thank you, everybody. Asante sana for your support to Amani. And remember, you can still make a donation today, tomorrow, in the next few days to bring the total raised even higher. We'll add it and provide an update. Over to you, Andrew.
Thanks very much, Kim. Tell us what else we've got coming up here.
Well, I think we're winding up. I think it's just, we want to say a big thank you to everybody who was involved in putting this together. I want to thank Francesco for, facilitating so much of this and also making sure donations could come in. I want to thank everyone for the generous donations that they're making. I want to thank Steve for the work, of course, with the Kilimanjaro, the virtual climb, Valerie, for beginnings, Minder for all the ongoing work, Dan Richards, of course, behind the scenes, and really thanks to all of the Amani supporters for taking the time to be with us.
So we are going to hear a final thank you from some of the Amani children. And then for those of you who can hang on a bit longer, inspired by the credits on the most recent Avengers movies, we are going to have some final words from Amani donors. But first, let's head over to the kids at Amani. Let's roll that video.
Hello, Tanzania. This is Brad Doors coming to you from Toronto, Canada. I've been a strong supporter of Amani for 10 years and I hope to be for the next 10. The work that Minard and his team are doing inspires me and I hope it will inspire you to become a supporter too. Thanks a lot.
I support Amani because Amani supports Tanzania's most vulnerable youth. And watching those children grow into adults that are not only happy and healthy and well cared for, but are functional in society is priceless.
We are Mark and Heather from Toronto.
We've been supporting Amani since 2005.
In 4 visits to Amani, we have always left Amani certain that our money has been carefully spent and is having a huge impact. It is the real deal.
The dedication of staff that we've witnessed has brought tears to our eyes and cemented our long-term commitment to Amani.
G'day, we're Australians, Gail and Barry. One special memory we have of our visit to Amani in 2011 was meeting Dadi. It was fun, tied to a lamppost, was severely autistic and had few personal or communication skills.
Thanks to the Amani team, Dadi learned to interact with others, sleep, shower and dress himself, and perform simple tasks in the kitchen. We gather he's still with you.
Keep up the good work.
Hello, I'm Anne. I live in the southwest of the UK in Devon. And I support Amani because they're changing the world one child at a time.
I support Amani because it works. Amani rescues children. I've been visiting Amani since 2004, and I've seen them rescue homeless kids from the streets, heal them, educate them, and give them the chance to play again, to sing, to dance, to skip. Amani gives them joy and hope. And there's no greater gift that I can give a homeless kid than a home, and a Amani home.
Hello, I'm Queen Nesveld from the Netherlands. I want to ask your attention for the Amani organization in Tanzania, who support kids who live on the street. Amani assures them shelter, food, healthcare and good education for boys and girls between 8 and 14 years old. Yearly over 750 kids are supported by Amani. I think that's a lot. They need our support too, to be able to continue their good work. I hope you will support them too. Thank you. Bye.